You can see how long I've gone without my hands on the wheel. And this isn't even showing the HDA system. This is where I should be having to put my hands on the wheel. Not quite a car, but not quite a truck either. The 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz has been tagged as an sport adventure vehicle, or an SAV. But is this the right utility vehicle for you, for your family, or for your lifestyle? I am going to show you why you might want to give this new breed of El Camino a chance. This does have a very utilitarian design, but it scores higher for usefulness and practicality than it does attractiveness. Now, style and design all comes down to your preference. And actually, after having this for about a week, it's really starting to grow on me. You know, it definitely does have a better front end than the Rivian R1T. Now, there weren't any major changes for the 2023 model. They did make some of the optional features standard, but the only other thing that they did was they added a night trim level, which gives you some more black accents, gives it a little bit sportier design. So now let's go check out your engine options. So you get two engine options for the Santa Cruz. The SE and the SEL get a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with 191 horsepower. With the Night, the XRT, and the Limited trims, you get this 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder with 281 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Now, Hyundai did give this an 8-speed transmission with the H-Track all-wheel drive. That'll get you 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. Not too shabby. And as for your fuel efficiency, you are looking at 19 in the city, 27 on the highway, and 22 combined. So I really do like the front grille here. You know, it's got this chain link design. It's pretty simple, and it's also not chrome. It's kind of a dark, tinted chrome, if you want to call it that. And then the daytime running lights all are integrated into that grille also. So it just gives it a really clean, smooth look. And then you have LED headlights all the way around, and they are the automatic high-low beams, so they will switch off to dim on their own. Now, this color is California Sand. It's a nice color, but it's just really not my preference. But I really do like this wheel design. Those are pretty nice. Your 20-inch wheels that come on this limited trim. And that's just, it looks really good. Like I said, you know, it's starting to grow on me. Starting to look really nice. As we come around to the back here, you can see this just has a 4-foot bed. But for a 4-foot bed, this thing has a lot of incredible function to it. So let's take a look at some of that right now. So first off, you have a soft open tailgate. It's really nice, just kind of drops down real slow. Then you have this locking tonneau cover. So that keeps everything locked up for you. So you don't have to worry about that. That just slides away. You've got a strap on there that you can use to pull that back in when you need to. But let's look at some of the cool things that this does back here. So first off, there's this cutout. Now this cutout, you would think is probably where the spare tire is, like on the Rivian. But no, that's not what it is. Actually, open this up, and guess what? You have storage under here, and it has a drain in it. You can actually use this as a cooler. So there we've got some pop back here from the drive-in movie night that we went to. It's pretty awesome. And the lights on the sides here do turn on when this bottom part lifts up so you can see inside your bed. That's pretty awesome. Then you have these multiple tie down points that you can shift and move. You can put a cargo net across here to hold stuff in place. So over here, we have this little compartment here that will open up. And so you have some storage in there on this side. And then if we move ourselves around to this side, looks like the same thing, right? Pop it down. Guess what? There is storage in there, but you also have a 120 plug right there. All right. So now you have power in your bed. Tie down straps, power in the bed. You can see there's tie downs there in the bed on the side walls. Then we've got another little function. We have seen this or something similar to it in another vehicle. So if you prop your tailgate up a little bit, you got this little clip right here. You pull that clip back, that will pop this off, and you can actually put it right up here and then clip it in. So now it's clipped in and it holds that tailgate up at an angle. It's probably about the same height as your wheel well. So then you can slide a board right across here and all the way up. And that way your board is not sagging or bent up or anything like that. You just have it sitting like that. So that's pretty cool. It's a good idea. It's nice to see that. Yeah, it's just easy. You just grab this, pull it, it's cut, and you can see it doesn't move. People like to take this and have these clipped on back here so that it just doesn't go flying up whenever you get to it, and then you have to go dig and chase it. And then you push this up, and it closes very easily. It's pretty nice. I do like the tail lights in the back. Those are pretty cool. And I like this little just Hyundai in the handle. It's pretty nice. So now that we've taken a look at it, how about we fill it up with some luggage and let's see how well everything fits. Okay, it is time for the luggage test. Well, as you can see, there's plenty of room. There's even room to stack things on here. There's ways that we could have maneuvered these to make even more room. We could have put the duffel bags up underneath the tonneau cover holder. They could have slid up underneath there. That would have gave us even more space in the back if you needed it. But you can just see plenty of space for 2 large suitcases, a medium-sized suitcase, 2 duffel bags, and a carry-on. And you could even get more in here. It's actually 4 feet is not too shabby. And the plus side is, with this tonneau cover closing and you close the tailgate, when you lock your truck, nobody can get to your stuff. Your stuff is locked up just as well as it is in an SUV. Okay, you've seen the outside. Let's go talk about the cool things on the inside. Here we've got black on black. So nothing real special, no massive two-toned interior or anything like that, but it is done very nicely. You have this little metal piece right here, and this is plastic here. Thing is, it seems like, why would you do that? But you don't actually ever touch it. I didn't even know that it was hard plastic or anything there for a long time. So other than that, the seats are excellent. The door panels in here, they're pretty basic. You do have some piano black. If you're opposed to piano black, you're gonna have some. You're just gonna have to, either figure it out or deal with it or see what other options you have. This stripe going around here is really nice. So you have this piano black here, outlined by this aluminum trim. Now, if you look around the inside, this aluminum trim actually carries on all the way around, and it just seems to wrap around you like a cockpit. And it makes it for a real appealing and comfortable space to be in. You do get, on this limited trim, you got full power seats on both sides. This side has lumbar. I don't believe the passenger side does. But other than that, your buttons and everything are laid out really nicely. We'll get in here. You can see you have a traditional shifter, which is awesome. I think more people like the traditional shifter than they do the buttons. Behind that, you have your four-wheel lock, your hill descent control, auto hold, and your parking camera. We'll look at those camera views here in just a minute. You got your infotainment screen, which is pretty dirty right now. We went to a drive-in movie last night and it was raining, so we had to sit and idle the truck for a very long time. Over here, this adjusts your interior lighting, and there's your bed light, and then you can shut your traction control off. Let's hop on inside and we'll go over a few things. And you can see the gauges there. Those are pretty cool. Little chime, engine oil is due soon. It's nice that it just kind of pops up, lets you know, and then it goes away. So it just is a reminder instead of something that's orange and bright on your screen saying, oh, change the oil, change the oil. Pops up, says, hey, go ahead, do this real quick, and then we'll move on. Since we're right here, let's talk about this driver's display. Fully digital, really awesome, gives you tons of information. So there's your information for your drive modes. It automatically gives you a trip cleared out, ready to go every time you get in. So you can keep track of your mileage, your mile per gallon, how long you've been driving for, all of that. If you go down, it takes you to since the last time you filled up. And then you have your accumulated trip. So this is, once you reset this, then until you reset it again, it's going to keep tally on it. So right now we are at 408 miles that we've driven this. Got 22.5 miles per gallon, which the average is 22 miles per gallon. So it's doing right what it's supposed to, 16 hours of runtime. And your drive modes are up here. And the cool thing that Hyundai does with the drive modes, check this out. So we go to Smart. Sport changes those gauges, so look at that. That is a really cool gauge cluster there. You go to normal and it is white. It goes back to snow, and Smart are the same, but your Sport lets you know that you got a little extra something going on there. That's pretty cool. Then you can also put it on this screen, which that also watches your lane centering, lane keep assist, and the Hyundai driver assist, which we will talk about here in just a little bit because it is amazing, and some other manufacturers need to do some work and learn a little bit. We will pan back here and we will get the steering wheel. And with the steering wheel, what you got here is very, very simple. It's the same in every Hyundai, I believe. So you've got your cruise control right there. When you turn it on, it'll automatically set it right then. But if you want to change it while you're driving, like the next time you go to slow down or speed up or want to set your cruise, you can just press up, we'll set it. Other than that, there's your up and down there. You press it to resume. This one here controls your center display up here. And then you have your lane centering right here. This turns on your lane centering, and then when you hit the interstate, we'll turn on your Hyundai driver assist, and we will talk about that soon. This is your adjustment for your adaptive cruise control. Mode side on this is basically controls all of your stereo functions. You have your stock back here, has all your lights and everything on it, just like a normal. And then on this side has all your wipers. It does have automatic rain sensing wipers. All right, so let's go to this infotainment screen. Now, what I like is this is the first screen. And if you have a radio, if you have your phone hooked up or whatever, you can have it on here. It will display what music is playing and then your where you live and the temperature. And it's just a nice calm screen. You can see that it has a map navigation in the background, but it's just kind of sitting back there, nice and quiet, unintrusive. I like this little quiet screen. It's really nice. But if you swipe to the left, then it brings up your map, and you see how quick this is. You hit your home button to go back. You've got a navigation menu. You can hit it to go back. You've got your phone. You've got a phone projection. Your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay button will also pop up here, which they are only wired. Only wired on this big screen. The smaller screens, it's wireless. Don't know why, but that's just the way it is. So then you can hit your climate, and that brings up all of that, tells you what you're doing out, and it tells you your outside temperature. go through all of this stuff however you want to set it. You can set all this stuff down here. You don't need to go into the screen up here, but you can if you want to. Valet mode, quiet mode, radio, media, your setup. Here is where you're going to go in and you're going to make vehicle settings to change your speed limit signs, your driver attention warning, your forward safety, all of that type of stuff is all done on this screen here. And I'm sorry about the fingerprints everywhere. Stereo controls also right across the bottom here, and quick touch, map, navigation, radio, media, setup. So you don't have to go to setup or go through all of this to get to that stuff. You can just hit map, or you can hit radio, or you can hit media, and it will just jump around. And you see it's actually fairly quick. It doesn't waste any time. So that's pretty cool. So good job there, Hyundai. Down here we have a USB plug, and then this one has a USB and it has a charge plug. I believe this one will still charge your phone if you're connected, but this is the only way that you can connect your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay is through this one. This one only charges, but this one will do the connection and charge. You have a 12-volt plug right there. Got a little storage here, and you have a wireless charging pad right here for your cell phone. Actually fits pretty well down in there. 2 cup holders as we come back. We have the center console. I'll open that up. You can see it's actually pretty deep in there. Got a few things in here, phone mount and a few other things. So this one also does have a sunroof that does open, and it does have a sunshade. So that works really well. You can see it better from this angle. Pretty good. And there is the back seats from here. And now let's go hop in the back, see how I fit back there. I'm about 6 foot, so if I can fit, most of you will be able to fit too. So let's go do that right now. All right, we can see this opening for this door. It's pretty decent, it's not too bad. And then we're gonna get in, and I do have the seat in my driving position. Now you can see that I am just about touching the backs of this seat. Now they do have these cutouts, which are really nice about where your knees are, but you really can't relax your knees or you're gonna be pushing on this plastic. So it is just a little bit tight in here, but I think it's manageable. If I put my feet under the seat a little bit more, I can relax without having to be wedged up against the back of this seat. So that's not too bad. Now, headroom, I do have about that much headroom. So you're looking at about at least 2 inches there, possibly 2.5. Other than that, it actually is not too bad back here. It's pretty decent. Door panel here, you've got a cup holders, more piano black back here, but it is pretty nice. And this is all soft touch back here. This is hard plastic up here by the window, but the rest of this is actually soft here. And then you've got soft leather here or vegan leather. This is a hard plastic down here below. Now here's your back seats. So we're looking at a holder there. Here is the cutouts I was telling you for your knees on each side. You have the vents back here. You have 2 USB plugs, and you pan around in here, and we do have a center console. No, we do not have a center console for the, you can seat 3 across the back here. But yes, there's no cup holders in here, but they are in the doors. So that's not a huge issue. Now, let's talk about what happens underneath here. You pull this, you pull that up. There's storage underneath the seats, and they are split seats, so you can access this side if you have a toddler or a child or a person sitting on that side, even a car seat in that one that's set in there. You can still use this side as your space, and they do lock up, so it doesn't move. You do have to just pull this handle like that, and you can push it back down. It's pretty good. Let's go check out the other side. So same thing on this side. You pull the handle, and the seat goes up. There you have your jack, whenever you need that. Now I have heard that some people have taken their jack out of here and put it underneath the passenger seat. so they could use this whole area as storage. It's a pretty good idea. As an example for you guys, we don't have kids, our kids are grown, but just so you can see what it looks like in the back there with kids in there, we have a little special treat for you guys. If you have seen one of my videos before, you know where I'm headed with this. If you haven't seen my videos before, then get ready. You're in for a treat. Yeah, that's right. We have some pig children to give you guys an example of what it would look like with some children sitting back here. Of course, their legs are going to hang out a little bit longer than that, but gives you a little bit of an idea. There we are. There are the parrot pigs sitting in the back of the Santa Cruz. You can see that they do have plenty of room back here. Okay, so for pricing on this Santa Cruz, you can get it for as low as $26,650, and that is going to be for the SEL trim. Now for the limited trim, it's going to start out at $40,070, and after options and destination fees, our tester here comes in right around $42,615. So whether you are in the market for one or not, there is a vast amount of trim levels and price points that will fit your budget and maybe your lifestyle. So I really hope you guys like this Santa Cruz. I'm really starting to like it myself. Okay guys, you've seen the inside and outside of this Santa Cruz, all the little quirky things that it can do, what you can do with the bed. It's just pretty awesome. Really starting to grow on me. I know I've said that a couple times now, but it really has. But let's go check it out and see how much power it has, how it handles, what the driving dynamics are. Well, let's go do that right now. I've been driving this, like I said earlier, for about a week, and I've really started to get used to this truck. It feels like an SUV on the inside. That's what's crazy. You feel like you're driving an SUV. You don't feel like you're driving a truck. But there are some characteristics that it does have that makes it behave like a truck, especially with the all-wheel drive system. That sometimes can be a little hit or miss. But we'll check on that here after we get us a power and acceleration test. We'll do a 0-60 here shortly. These country roads, and they're bouncing around a little bit, that's what gives it that feel of a truck versus an SUV. Now the cool thing is that it is a little bit softer, that softer feel of an SUV, but the sharp ones do feel like a truck hitting sharp bumps. So it gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds, I guess you could say. Okay, we're gonna get turned around here. We are gonna kick it into sport mode. All right, here we go. We're gonna brake torque. We are down, here we go. All right, 60. It wasn't too bad. It's a little slow getting off the line. I would have thought it would have been a little bit quicker, but one thing that I am noticing with this is that it does have some noticeable turbo lag. My brother-in-law has a Subaru Ascent, and it does the exact same thing. So it's something that needs to be tuned a little bit better. Like they need to set up the turbo so it doesn't have as much torque lag. So hopefully that's something that they can work on. Other than that, I think it's great. It is sneaky fast, because if you put the accelerator down, once that kicks in, it will push you back. It really does have a lot of get up and go, and can be a lot of fun. You can really feel that 291 horsepower. But it's just the turbo lag. So Hyundai, work on the turbo lag a little bit, get that to engage a little bit quicker, and you'll have something better than 6 seconds. I believe you could probably get in the low 5s if you didn't have that turbo lag. It has 310 foot-pounds of torque, so you can tow about 5,000 pounds, which is 1,000 pounds more than the Ford Maverick. So if that Maverick was kind of a consideration for you, you might look at your towing numbers on that. And then you're looking at your payload on this is around 1,500 to 1,700, depending on your configurations. So you have heavier stuff in here, like this has the sunroof and things like that. Your payload is going to be just a little bit lower. I talked about the suspension a little bit earlier, and it is really smooth. On the highway, it's really smooth. You hit those sharp little impacts. That's where you get that little truck feel. Not horrible. It does absorb them very well. And then you get that bounciness a little bit sometimes of a SUV. So you get a kind of, like I said, a little combination of the two. Driving dynamics, this is where you get a little bit more into the truck feel. Whenever you go around a tight corner or you do a jog maneuver like we're doing right now, you get a little bit of body roll, but it's pretty much isolated. So instead of like an SUV where you get that top end, that top portion that wants to roll because it's high center of gravity, this you don't have because of having the truck bed. So you don't have that extra height in the back that wants to roll at an angle around a corner. This sticks down a little bit tighter, which is really nice. I had mentioned earlier about the all-wheel drive system. There is a few times where I'm not sure what the all-wheel drive system is kind of doing. I'm not sure exactly how they're tied, the front and the rear are tied together. Because if you're driving on a bumpy country road here in Illinois, you're bouncing around all over the place, rocking around. What I noticed was the front seems to want to slow down when it goes into a dip, while the back end is still trying to push. And then when it comes out of that dip, the front wants to accelerate, while the back has just tried to slow down because the front wanted to slow down. So you get this little feel of a rocking back and forth. Or maybe a better example would be if you had a trailer and you were pulling something and you feel that push and pull sometimes when you're driving down hills or over bumps and stuff, and you kind of got that little push or pull. That's kind of the feeling sometimes. And I think I noticed that it only does it when the cruise control is on those bumpy roads like that. Other than that, when we're driving on a smooth highway, just like we're doing right now, I feel none of that. It just goes, everything is blended together. So I think it's more of that front and rear trying to figure out what each other's doing on a heavy bumpy road with cruise control. Let's talk about the lane keep assist, lane centering, and the Hyundai driver assist. Hyundai driver assist, in my opinion, right now, is the best driving system I have ever used. It's probably one of the better ones out there. Only for the simple fact that when you're on the interstate, you can go hands-free driving without an eye tracker. Because unless there's a hidden eye tracker somewhere that I cannot find, I have not had anything ever tell me to watch the road when that was on. I've never had anything tell me to put my hands on the wheel when that driver assist was on, and it shows up at the top of your screen on your driver's display. And I have a video of that, just should be rolling right now so you guys can see where I drove like 10 miles hands-free, no issues, no problems, and it just handled it excellent. I wasn't bouncing around. I was dead in the center. Never had an issue. Regular lane centering, if I turn that on, it does the lane centering like I'm doing right now. I don't have hands on, and the other thing is I don't have the cruise set yet. I'm actually just pushing with my gas pedal, so it will actually do lane centering and everything without the Cruze being set. Now you can see how long I've gone without my hands on the wheel. And this isn't even showing the HDA system. This is where I should be having to put my hands on the wheel. If I hit resume on my Cruze now, I am completely off of it. And you can see it still has not told me to put my hands on the wheel. So it's doing hands-free driving on the highway without having to do anything. So what is the problem with all of these other systems that say, oh, you got to have your hands on the wheel, or you got to have eye trackers? I don't get it. I don't understand. Why do I have to have an eye tracker? It makes no sense. Why does everybody else have to have an eye tracker? Hyundai doesn't have one. You know why I think it is? Because Hyundai's system is better. 10 times better. All right, so now that I've went off on that rant, and you can see, I'm not touching the wheel. I'm still just driving down the road, lane centering, all that stuff. Sorry if I'm blocking this camera with my hand. I just want you guys to know I don't have my hands on the wheel, and you guys can see that. So let's talk about seat comfort. See, the seats in here, they are pretty good. They probably could be just a little bit better. We drove the Hyundai Santa Fe plug-in hybrid. If you haven't seen that review, go check that out. Those seats in there, I feel, were a lot more comfortable than the ones that are in here. So that is, one thing. But they aren't horrible. They are pretty decent. Like, we sat at that drive-in movie theater. Now, there you probably saw there was no white line on the right side, so it decided it was supposed to go that direction. So that's not the car's fault. That was no lines on the road. We sat in these seats for that entire drive-in movie, and we were perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, we could move around and stuff, so we could get in decent positions, but driving there was an hour-and-a-half drive there, hour-and-a-half drive back, and we were doing just fine. So the seats will be fine for most people. We just found that the Santa Fe seats were a little bit more comfortable. If you haven't subscribed yet, you might want to go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any more of these reviews. Plus, we have the real world mile per gallon test coming out shortly. It will be linked down below in the description. It will also be linked in one of these spots right here. I don't know which one it's going to be in. And the other one is going to have the video that YouTube thinks that you want to watch next. So pick one of those videos, watch another video, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.